in that list, we see the return of Alex Iwobi, who missed the final World Cup qualifier, as well as Kenneth Omeruo and Osei Bride, Osei Samuel. Also, and that repeat, the same way it happened on the last Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, the captain of the team, Ahmed Musa, is not listed for this match, as well as the assistant captain, William Trost Ekon, and the young brand, Gift Orban, who everybody is expecting to be one of the best in the Super Eagles, was not included for this all-importantly friendly match. In the list released by the coach, we have the like of Samuel Sukweji, Moses Simon, Ademola Lukman, Victor Osimhen, Victor Boniface, the young man at Liverpool, who is doing well, Bradley Penton, the German leagues with the goal, and at the same time, one of the informed players at the moment in the English Premier League, Taiwo Awoniyi, were all listed as a striking force for the team. While in the defender, we have the like of in the defender, we have Ola Aina, Sami Ajayi, Kevin Vansim, Jamil Collin, Winfrey Udidi, and a whole lot of other. While if you look at this list, Super Eagles have a crucial match, which is going to be one of their first important match against the Saudi Arabia in a friendly at the senior level. The match is coming up this month, and looking at this list, what is your expectations, and what do you think Jose Peseiro will intend to achieve with this team?
Of course, the line was breaking, but I can actually get to hear you about the list for the Super Eagles of Friendly versus Saudi Arabia and Mozambique in that particular one. Of course, regular list we'll get to say the introduction of Bashir, of course, to the squad is a good one, because we know that we need to try other players. Of course, games like these also give an avenue for the coach to actually get to try other players. Of course, but my own concern is there's a player in the French League One. I'm talking about Jeremy Akko. He has scored 5 goals in the ongoing campaign. He's second to Kylian Mbappe as the highest goal scorer in France. I feel at this point in time, Peseiro should actually get to invite him, because we know he has played for the national team. Talking about the under-20, we saw his exploit, and now he's actually doing good right there in France. So I feel Peseiro should have actually extend his call to Jeremy in that particular, because he has been doing fantastic well. We know that players like Kelechi Iheanacho, for me, should have actually sit back in this particular game, because it's just a friendly game. There's nothing to actually fight for. But of course, in this kind of a friendly game, I feel that Peseiro should just try and invite new set of players. And let's get to see the stuff they are made of. Let's get to give them that confidence, and for them to know that at least their country actually got them in their back any day, anytime. Of course, there are a lot of players in the English Premiership, across Europe, even in the MPFL, and the return of the MPFL, of course, we should actually encourage more players from the MPFL to be invited to this squad, so that going to the Nations Cup, he will actually have a lot of options when it comes to player selection, because we know that, of course, players, of course, teams will still be in action in their various leagues, in case if any of the European teams don't want to allow Nigerian players to come. Of course, we can actually get to bank on the services of some of the MPFL player, just to know how to strengthen the squad. So I would say it's a good list, no doubt about it. I will hope and see how we get to play against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique. Of course, you can't try to downplay Saudi Arabia at this point in time. When you look at how they've been able to invest in sport development, we have been seeing a lot of players going into the Saudi Arabian league. So you should see them coming to show us the stuff they are made of. We saw them getting to beat Argentina at the World Cup. So we should not take this match to levity, because it should definitely affect us when it comes to the FIFA ranking, Salifo.
Well, good one there from you. And if you're looking at Peseiro teams, yes, a whole lot of Nigerians have satisfied that, yes, he was able to meet the target, qualifying the Nigerian Super Eagles for the African Cup of Nations, even with a match to spare. But yes, a whole lot of Nigerians were not convinced about the performance of the team. Despite that, we have a whole lot of areas of strikers, fine strikers painting their club league goals, doing well for their club side. But in terms of the tactical prowess of the Jose Peseiro, Nigeria, the whole lot of Nigerians are not too convinced about his performance. But however, the Nigerian Football Federation feel that he's still the right man for the job, and they have extended his contract, and obviously he's going to take Nigeria to the next Africa Cup of Nations coming up January, between January and February. And this match now is part of the strategies to ensure that the team has put in a perfect perspective. But looking at you as a person and looking at somebody who has followed the national team closely and with the task ahead, do you think Peseiro has what it takes to have a good formation that will give Nigeria the desired victory at the Cote d'Ivoire 2023?
Of course, Salifo, if I get to hear you right about talking about the 2025 or 2024 AFCON, of course. For me, I would say the Super Eagles are actually not condemned, to win the African, title for the fourth time. When you look at the average of stars that we have right now, and when you look at the current form of our players across Europe, they're doing very, very well. Victor Osimhen banging in the goals week in, week out. Oni Boniface as well. We have the likes of Chukwueze, Haruna Lukman, getting to do the magic. But you agree with me that there's still the midfield, department, we are really lacking a lot. And also, when you look at the goalkeeping also department, you're also lacking a lot. So I feel if we can actually improve on those, particular departments. I know that we have a lot of defenders and we have a lot of strikers, but where we are short now at this point, it is in the middle of the park and also in the goalkeeper, department. So if we can try and actually, put our house together, get to select the right midfielders and the right, goalkeepers, for the 2024, African Cup of Nations. I see no reason why this present Super Eagles team cannot actually go all the way to Cote d'Ivoire. I get to pick up that title in grand style and also qualify for the 2026 World Cup and also get to the quarterfinal, if not even the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. When you look at the areas of stars that we have right now, I feel this is the right time for us to go all the way, and conquer the world, both in Africa and also at the world biggest stage, Salifo.
Time now for Super Eagles to go all the way and conquer the world. And Jose Peseiro, if you are listening, Wale has given a free consultant without any payment an idea on how to build a formidable Super Eagles team. He has pointed out your error, particularly in the midfield. Yes, we have his striking, enough striking force, you have enough defender, but in the midfield, he's not convinced about the midfield. And obviously, that is where a whole lot of Nigerians are having a challenge. At the same time, the goalkeeping department of the Super Eagles is not too convinced. Nigerians are not too convinced about the goalkeeping department. Since the exit of Vincent Enyema from the national team, a whole lot of people have been trying. Victor Okoye that came in, people don't hope that it'll be a perfect replacement for Enyema. That has not been. Francis Uzoho up to now has not proved himself to the satisfaction of everybody. A whole lot of things. So this Peseiro and you and the technical team have a lot of your job between January to ensure that you have a very compact midfield that can be able to distribute and also holding the ball for the benefit of the Super Eagles. And your last man defend. The goalkeeper is another key issue. Then we move on to the next story. The Nigeria basketball national team, the male team, the Tigers, if you recall, they failed to qualify for the Paris Olympics. Despite that Nigeria hosted the qualifier at our own Birmingham, our home here in Lagos, the Tigers failed woefully to pick a ticket for the Paris Olympics. Now, we don't know what is at stake, but the Nigerian Football Federation released a program that the team will be already in China to play for a tour in China. What are they playing for? Are they just playing for nothing, or are they just playing to one more for nothing's sake? While the Tigers is one of the brand for the Super Eagles, but unfortunately, with all the expectation, the Tigers has qualified for the Olympic back to back 3 times. They were in London 2012, they were in Rio 2016, they were in Tokyo 2020, but unfortunately, the next Olympic in Paris that will be hosted in Europe, we are not going to be part of the team because the team failed to qualify. And now, the basketball federations have put up a program for them to be in China for a tour of China. Wale, what is your take on this? Is it a tour, or what is the answer of this tour?
Of course, Salif, if I can hear you well about the Tigers. Of course, we know they'll not be playing in the the Tokyo Olympic, the Paris Olympic Games, just so disappointing. But you agree with me that the leadership crisis that actually, cropped in the Nigerian Basketball Federation has been one of the major hindrance when it comes to our national team, when it comes to the organization, because we have lots of players around the NBA, also in the Spain League, in the France League, around the world. Of course, it's just to bring those players together. And we've seen that when a house is in a disarray, it is hard for you to actually produce any meaningful thing, that will actually coming from that particular house. It's just for our ladies who get to get to savage, also at the end of the day, getting to pick up, the Afro women basketball, champion title, for the 3 times running at this point. But I feel at this point in time, the Nigerian basketball must have to sit up, because we have a lot of stars across the world. And if your house is not well in an order, it is very, very difficult, for players to actually leave, their club who they actually get to work in a very conducive and a working environment. It will be very, very difficult for them, to come down and to come represent Nigeria and be treated, the way they were treated. Of course, we saw the qualifiers right there in Lagos, how, the build up to the qualifiers, how they were treated poorly, how the player complain about, the poor shape of our facilities, around, the venue of that particular, qualifiers. But at this point in time, for them to go, for a training tour in China, I think it's a welcome development. We should get to see more of this so that we keep the boys, busy. We keep the boys, coming, to talk to themselves, to gel as a team, and we see how that gets, to progress. Of course, basketball is a big sport, and we want, our basketball to be at that top level. We want our team, to get to rule Africa once again, as I've seen the likes of Angola, the likes of Senegal, have been doing in the past. So at this point in time, we need our team, to get in good shape, and also for the MBPF, for them to actually, put their house in order, so that the growth of the game can actually continue when it comes to the national team of our Nigerian basketball.
The NBA, you can hear that while say the tour of France is a good development, but for me, I still insisted, yes, it's a good development, but they say if you are good as how you are at your home. How the body against itself cannot never make any progress. How will you develop a game that without existing of a local league? As we speaking at the moment, the Nigerian basketball main league is still non-existent. After 5 years, we are moving to almost 6 years now. We are not playing a domestic league. Thank God, the women basketball league is back on the court. Coaches of the Genesis Bank, who have also renewed our sponsorship and started sponsoring the league. Now the whole last year, and here again the Genesis Bank women league is back. But for the male, the same cannot be said of the male league. And to me, that should be the primary assignment of KIDA-led NFL board, NFL MBF board, not to organize a training tour for a national team that has no any program at hand at the moment. So it will be better for them to invest all their energy to ensure that we get a domestic league on the run, rather than to just organize a jamboree. To me, I still see as a jamboree for a training tour of China, where there's no any program for the national team that have failed to qualify for the Olympic. But we can't dwell much on that, but Kida and his team need to put their house in order. We have to move forward because of the time is not on our side, and today we have a whole lot of package, as we told you earlier. We move straight to the Champions League. Champions League is tonight. A whole lot of matches will be tonight. All across Europe. If you recall last weekend, most of the top teams, particularly in the English Premier League, all lost their team except Arsenal. Manchester United was on the defeat side. Man City was on the defeat side. Liverpool are not a part of the Liverpool will compete in the Europa League. They will also play on a draw. If you go to the Madrid, the same thing. But now, all of them will move this midweek to the Champions League. If my producer have the future for the Champions League, let's just see the match that are lined up for today and for today's Champions League matches. Quickly, please, for the Champions League matches.
Of course, if I can hear you,
yes.
Be very are interesting, no doubt about it. We have a lot of mouth-watering actions on the menu today. Well, we see the likes of Arsenal going to play in France, Napoli, Real Madrid. For me, that is the biggest game of this particular week. Of course, we're going to be seeing the likes of Napoli and Real Madrid, Victor Osimhen in that particular one. Hopefully, we should get him to see that he get to score some goals for Napoli. Of course, it's not going to be an easy task for Napoli, but they'll be playing in front of their home fans. And at this point in time, it will be good, for them to actually, secure, that particular win. Because when you look at their stats and their head-to-head at this point in time, the last time both team actually played, Napoli lost at home to Real Madrid 3-1. And Napoli also lost at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium 3-1 also. So it will be a best start, for Napoli to actually take their revenge because we know the pedigree and the stuff they are made of at this point in time. They're Italian champions. They'll be playing in front of their own fans. And at this point in time, Real Madrid is not the team that we have actually get to see in the previous years. Of course, some of their players have actually left the club. I'm talking at the likes of Karim Benzema, going to the Saudi, Pro League, Casemiro, coming to Manchester United. So, of course, it's not a very rosy, Real Madrid, team at this point in time. And you can agree with me that Napoli won their last game, 4-0. So they are going into this particular game with all full confidence. And I'm just hoping that, of course, Victor Osimhen can score in that particular game and also ensure that he keeps his doubters and those noisemakers keep them short at this point in time. And when you look at the game between Manchester United and Galatasaray, of course, is another mouth-watching encounter at in that particular one. We see the likes of Wilfred Zaha getting to face his former club, Manchester United. We know that Manchester United lost their last opening game 3-4 goals at Bayern Munich, and also Galatasaray. They drew the last game. They came from 2 goals down to actually draw another particular one. So it's going to be an interesting clash. Glad Unveils should win for me. So that, of course, we're going to be seeing our own Umar Sadiq in that particular one. Hopefully, he should get on the scoring sheet, Salifo.
A whole lot of things. But before I let you go, if you look at these matches, just like you have said, Napoli, that is one of the star matches that everyone is looking for. If you see if you look at what happened to Osimhen about the crisis between him and his club, where they have to unveil on their TikTok for his missed penalty, although the club has finally apologized to him and the players also placed a loyalty. However, even the Real Madrid has also expressed fear about the dangers of Osimhen. But do you think that was still going to affect Osimhen's performance? That is one. And at the same time, also to look at Leeds versus Arsenal. Arsenal is coming to Europe match. Arsenal is traveling to play away European Champions League match for the first time after 7 years. The last time Arsenal traveled to play in the Champions League was 2017, and now they are coming back for the first time in 7 years. And yesterday, Arsenal have a whole lot of trouble. Their movement to France was delayed for almost 5 hours due to the bad weather condition. Don't you look at it that is that going to affect Arsenal performance away? Although William Saliba have said that has not going to have any effect on their performance. But however, looking at that psychological effect done to Arsenal players yesterday by delaying them for almost 5 hours at the team, and at the same time, Osimhen versus his club issues is also going to decide the outcome of these 2 matches.
course, looking at the Victor Osimhen saga and with Napoli at this point in time. We know that for me, I feel he has actually put that behind him, because we saw him scoring against Udinese and also scoring in the last game. So even coming from the bench and he came to actually score. For me, I've seen that he has actually put that behind him, and he has also released a statement. Stating the fact that nobody will come, between him and the Napoli fans. Of course, for the social media director of TikTok, we heard that he has been, relieved of his duty at Napoli. So, of course, they are trying, just to sanitize and also to create a conducive environment for Victor Osimhen, because you agree with me, Victor Osimhen is the best player in the last 30 years after Diego Maradona, who actually won the Scudetto for Napoli in 1990, and the next biggest star for me in that particular team in the club in their club history. You must actually give it to Osimhen. Of course, Osimhen has actually bring a lot of fan base to Napoli. Of course, most of us in Nigeria get to follow Napoli at this point in time, and most of our fans across the world as well. And when you look at Arsenal, for me, they are professionals. We know that things like this do happen when it comes out to football, of course, but we know this is the first time they will be playing in France against Leeds. Of course, the last time they actually played, it was at the FIFA UEFA Cup, and they actually defeated Lens in France 2-1. The last time they actually played also was in the FIFA Cup. Arsenal won Lens also 1-0, and their last friendly that they played, that was in 2016. It ended in a 1-1. In that particular one. So, and at this particular time, Salifo, you agree with me that this is a brand new Arsenal team who they want to actually build from what they have been able to achieve last season, and coming to this season. They want to take it a step forward, and they want to prove to the fans that it was a mistake for them to be out of the Champions League for 6 years, going to 7 years now, and they want to show the world the stuff they are made of, and they have started that with a outstanding victory against PSV, and they are looking forward to consolidate on what they have started in the Champions League against LS tonight. So we should hope and see what they get to produce. Of course, we saw some clips of that training. We saw that the likes of Thomas Partey, the likes of Trossard, and has joined the team, and Saka is not out of the team. He's joined the team with the likes of Declan Rice, of course. So we should expect a full force Arsenal against Lens this particular evening, Salifo.
Good one tip from there, Wale. Thank you. And then let's look at the Manchester United before we go. If you look at Manchester United, this match against Galatasaray is a must win for Manchester United if they should have any chance of hope of progress to the next round of the Champions League. For instance, but Manchester United are coming to this match on a very bad footing. Just like you said earlier, they lost their opening match against Bayern Munich 3-2 in Bayern Munich. At the weekend, they lost their Premier League match to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. So looking at this, if you're a Man U fan, what you may be reading in your mind, and are they in the right mood to comfort this man? If you put it on the paper, head to head, you definitely see at the end, Manchester United have upper hand against the Turkish team. But however, looking at the scenario, the Manchester United are coming to this match against the defeat, and then the last defeat against the Crystal Palace coming to this match, and coupled with some of the coach having issues with some players. Sometimes physical issues is still not being central. With Manchester United, are they in the right frame of mind? The match is going to be played at Old Trafford. I know how the fans always react. Are they in the right match to confront this match?
Of course, if I can hear you correctly, talking about Manchester United versus Galatasaray. Of course, we know that situation around the Manchester at this point in time. Looking at the likes of Sancho, which the coach has actually freezing out in that particular team. There's a lot of crisis at Manchester United, and Ten Hag at this point in time is not finding it difficult. Most of the fans are getting out of patience for him at this point in time because we saw them losing to Crystal Palace. Same Crystal Palace that won in the Collabora Cup, and so a few days later they lost to that same Crystal Palace. So I feel things is not really working well for Ten Hag at this point in time. Is it beginning to lose, his grip in the locker room? Of course, is what we should actually look out for, because he has actually not put a lot of faith on Andrew Onana, of course, but for me, I think the defense and also the striking force, they are the major problem of Manchester United at this point in time. They are not well coordinated at the back, and also when you look at their front line, they are not well kick out. So there's a lot of issues for Terry and Hag to actually look out for as they actually get to approach this particular match. Of course, we know that Manchester United, when you look at the history books, Manchester United, the last club friendly that they played against Galatasaray, that was in 2016. Manchester United defeated them 5-2. When you look at the Champions League, far back in 2012, Galatasaray won in Turkey 1-0, while Manchester United won in England 1-0. So it shows that at this point in time, the pendulum can actually swing any side. And when you look at Galatasaray, they have more experienced player in their mix. They have the likes of Obafemi, they have of Icardi in that particular one, players who can actually hunt to any day, anytime. And for Manchester United, they're finding it difficult. They're not getting the pass. Holland is not getting the pass from Rashford. Rashford is actually not playing. For me, he's on his island on his own. He just want to score. He don't want to pass the ball, and ensure that his striker gets to finish up. So there's a lot of concerns for Ten Hag, and the earlier he gets to solve those problems, the better for him at this point in time, because we know that Manchester United are the top class team, and they always want to remain at that point. And when you look at what they are in the Premier League table, you agree with me that this is not Manchester United that we have known them to be for a very long time. So for me, it's going to be a dicey game. This game will actually speak a lot of volume and the future of Ten Hag as the manager of Manchester United, Salifu.
If you don't win this man, obviously it will spend doom for him, because obviously the friendship between him and the fans is no longer suitable. Even his relationship with the player is no longer. Last year it was about Ronaldo crisis. You hear this again. There's Sancho. They have already flew Sancho out of the club, but he's not winning. And if he's not winning, how do you play? How do you please fans? So Ten Hag, the ball is in your court. You must use this match to service your future at the Old Trafford. That is the most we can take on today's edition of the Sport Orbit. Wale, thank you for joining us on today's edition of the Sport Orbit.
Okay, I can't hear you. What did you say? I didn't hear that last part.
I just said thank you for joining us on today's edition of the Sport Orbit. That is the most we can take.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully, I make a return tomorrow as well for the program. Thank you for having me, Sally. For regards to everybody in the studio and also everyone in the office. Thank you.
The great ones. Then, to our listener, that is the most we can take on today's edition until come your way again for the midweek editions Wednesday precisely. And then we will come back tomorrow. We will review the result of the Premier League matches that we played today, and then looking at the features of the matches that will be decided tomorrow. Until come your way again, I remain yours sincerely, Salifu Usman.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Initially, your line was breaking, but your voice get clear, and I can hear you clearly.